So I've gotten some questions about how we built this cage, and these chicks have been in here about a week now. Well, maybe not even a week. And so I wanted to kind of update you on how it's working and give you the specifics on it. And I'm going to upload a sketch of the building materials and how to put it together. It's pretty easy. And upload that to my website for an easy download for free, and give you guys the information when I have it. So this is just a grow out cage. I'm not using it for layers, and that just simply means that the floor is level. It is not on an angle, so the eggs roll out. So if you wanted the eggs to roll out, you would have to adjust for that. Now, I use Hatch in Time layer cages out in the barn, so I like everything to be as uniform as possible. I don't have to keep as many parts available when I'm building stuff. Makes it easier for me, and it makes it easier for the birds to just learn one system from the beginning. So this is a Hatching Time water system. This is their tub, this is their hoses, and this is a 36-inch water pipe. And what you'll see here is they come with nipples, and then this is a water cup, just a drip cup. Now this one is from their brooder, and it has a float valve in it, and it keeps water in the bottom of it. And this way these chicks can learn to drink from the nipple on this one, but just in case they haven't quite figured it out, they can go to that one and make sure that they have water available. There is a third nipple down there, and I have more drip cups on order, and actually I think they might have come in yesterday, and I need to add them on there. The bottom level is the same. The poop tray is also from Hatching Time, and that just happens to be the one that I threw on here. I am moving everything over to 36-inch oil pan trays from Advanced Auto. They're like 15 bucks over at the store. You can go over there and pick them up, and they're a little bit deeper so poop doesn't fall off the bottom onto the floor. I mean, obviously you can tell that that's a couple days worth of manure built up, and you can see that it's not falling on the floor or on the shelf underneath of it, because they are hanging out off the back side. Now, another thing I wanted to show you was up here on the top. We're going to start up here at the top on our tour, and this is a hatch that I had him add. And the reason why I had him add this was in case I put younger birds in here or we had a cold spell, then I could just set one of my 10-inch brooder plates down inside the top tier, and keep them warm that way. If you have to do that, I would put a puppy pad down and then set the heater plate on top of the puppy pad, just to kind of hold the warmth in, and then, you know, the warmth is just going to go through the wire if you don't put something there to kind of maintain it. I personally like puppy pads because I do go through a bunch of them. It's just easier for me to roll up and toss out. Now, the bottom floor here is coated 1/2-inch galvanized wire. You want coated on their feet. You don't want to put them on bare wire. Now up here on the top, on the sides, put the cheap stuff up there. Make sure it's predator proof if you're not putting them inside a barn. But in here, I don't have that problem. And so used coated wire here on the bottom. Now I would not suggest 1/2-inch wire for adults, but like I said, this is for my grow outs, and so 1/2-inch is fine. They've been in here for a week. I don't know, it might be hard for you to see the difference, but there's no poop buildup on this wire at all. Obviously up here where they're resting that there is, but there's nothing on the wire. And so the plan here is I put them up in here at about 10 to 12 days old, They do stay in this room because it's heated to about 70. And he has a lot to say back there, doesn't he? And so they don't really need heat at that point in this particular room. And so they're gonna stay in this cage in the room till they're about 3 weeks old, depending on the weather outside. And then I'll put them in the main part of the barn. And then when they're about 4 or 5 weeks old, I will put them up in the layer cages, pressure wash these, and then cycle the new babies into them. My plan is to have 8 of these in rotation at any given time. So it's two levels deep, okay? I did have him add some space here, a little bit of slop. So this is 4 inches. Just, you know, I don't need things so tight. Let it fall down. Just, you know, make sure everybody's got airflow, because air is very important to the bird's health. So the doors are on both sides, just a simple little flip latch. He put me a little eye hook right here just to grab onto. Flips down, out of my way. They're on both sides. The whole cage is about 25 inches deep and 36 inches wide, because that's what the poop tray is. The whole thing was built to be as uniform as I can with the materials that I have already. Now this feeder is from Thieving Otter Farm. It's her no waste feeder. You can find them on her website. It doesn't have a top, it's open. So again, this would be in a predator-proof situation. You would want to use these. This little piece right here, that is just simply to keep the plastic from bowing, to give it some support here in the middle. And it just rests on these brackets. They just hang on the wire, okay? And then right here, we've cut out head pieces, so they stick their head through and eat on the outside of the cage. Now this prevents them from shaking their head in the feed and wasting a lot of feed. You can see down here there is 0 feed in the poop tray. He's looking for his food. Come here, baby. So it just rests in there like that, okay? So you can get a picture of me. There you go. Now that front piece will raise up a little bit so you can make the feed a little bit deeper in the front if you want to. I don't see them having a real hard time. These guys were hatched on 11/17, so that makes them about 2 weeks old. And they're already up here. They've been up here for about 3 or 4 days. Hi. Now let's talk about the pool noodle for just a second. So what happens is when I first put them in here, there was a couple of them that were a little bit smaller, and they could come through that and then just walk along in the feed. So I didn't want to come in the room and find a bunch of them running around on the floor and people mixed up where they shouldn't be. So what I did was I just cut a pool noodle lengthwise. That slit right there is for that. And it just sits there. And that just simply keeps them from being able to pop out. I could have cut it a little bit longer, but I haven't had any trouble, so it works. I haven't found anybody on the floor yet, and that's only necessary until they're big enough to not pop out of there like that. And then I'll just move them, rotate these pool noodles to the baby cage, basically. This one is the same way. So these are Egyptians, in case you guys were wondering. They're a little bit lighter. They're still feather sexable. These guys, like I said, are only about 2 weeks old, because today is December 3rd. They were hatched on 11/17. So that's what, 15 days? Yep, there you go. So they're going to be actually sexable here in about 3 or 4 more days. I'll be able to see who is who. Now these ones down here, they're a mix, hatched the same day. These will be celadons. We got some Tibetans in there, some Rosetta tuxes, some whites, some show-offs. Okay, now I do not squat down on the floor. I just don't like to do it. So these cages were built for my height. So keep that in mind when I give you the schematics. These are 50 inches. That's a 50-inch stick of wood right there, plus the height of the wheel. You don't want to skimp on the wheels if you don't have to, and because it does make them nice to roll around. I do highly suggest always to put everything on wheels, because then you can just move it and sweep behind it, and you don't have to be dragging stuff and things get all wonky because you moved them and they didn't want to be moved structurally. Let's see, what else can I tell you? So I'm using that for storage. If you wanted to add a third layer, there's more than enough room down there for that. And the way that he built it, see, that has wire on it. And so he would just have to put up another floor and finish it off if I asked him to put me a third row in there, which I don't see that happening because, like I said, I don't squat down. This is still for enjoyment for me, and I don't get on the floor. It's just the way it is. Well, I can't think of anything else that I need to tell you about it. People had asked how the feeders worked, and there you go. There's a good view of it, right? Oh, he did say to tell you that the wire is on the top of here, but on the bottom here. So see, that allows them to get up here for a footrest. And the answer to, if you put the wire on the inside, it would keep it cleaner. That's just not true, because I have a cage that's like that I bought off of somebody else, and all they do is they back up to it, poop through the wire onto the wood. You still have the same mess. So you might as well let them have a footrest if they want one that way. Let's see. Oh, I guess the only other thing that I can tell you is I do, for the first few days I put them in here, I do put a little baby water in there just, you know, for a transition time. And I think I left it in there for like 2 days. And they're just zip tied here because, of course, I don't have any supports like the proper hatching time cages. So we just kind of put it on an angle and zip tied it to the wire, absolutely not having any problems. So this one is higher, obviously, than this one. And then this one, I'm gonna put the drip cup on here tomorrow. And they can stand up here if they're shorter and drink out of it. So it kind of accommodates all sizes. So far, I have not found anything that I am not happy with to alter it. You know, I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I think that I've got it kind of down to a science at this point. So those are my brooders back there, the green boxes, and then they'll move into here. And then when those come into a cage, these will be ready to go out in the barn. It just works for me this way. So if you have any questions, y'all let me know. And I'm gonna put links down in the comments of where to get everything that I've showed you.